Hi guys, welcome to my October unboxing. It is a fairly modest one this month for me, which is nice. So we mainly have rep boxes here. I didn't get any of the monthly subscriptions that I pay for in October. None of them were really piquing my interest. So I just have 4 rep packages and then 1 Fairyloot special edition that I bought like months and months ago that just happened to come in October. So before we get into this unboxing, I am going to give you a little bit of an overview of what you are going to be seeing in this video. And this is going to be time-stamped as well. So if you want to skip through the boxes, you're not interested in some, or there's some that like you don't want to get spoiled for, you can skip around however you want to throughout the course of this one. But getting into what I'm going to be opening today, the first thing that we have is the October Illumicrate, which actually feels kind of light. This has been sent to me by the team over at Illumicrate to show to you guys, so thank you so much to Illumicrate for that. They are a UK-based monthly bookish subscription service that have a brand new hardback release that is either fantasy or sci-fi in a age range. It's normally like upper YA through to adult. It sits pretty comfortably around the new adult range, and there's also a selection of bookish goodies in here as well. I do also have a code for Illumicrate, so if you guys would like to get your own Illumicrate subscription after watching this video, you can use my code Becca5 to get a discount on a 3 or 6 month subscription. We then have my Fairyloot rep packages. So I'm currently a rep for all 3 of Fairyloot's monthly subscriptions. Fairyloot are once again a UK based subscription box. They have a YA box, which has a YA fantasy book in a hardback exclusive edition and a selection of bookish goodies. They also have a Romantasy box, which is a Romantasy hardback release in an exclusive edition. This one comes with no goodies, it's just the book. And then the second book only monthly subscription is the adult fantasy box, which, as you may guess, is a brand new adult fantasy hardback release in an exclusive Fairyloot edition. And of course, thank you very much to Fairyloot for sending all of these my way in exchange for this unboxing video. And then the last book that I have is the one that I paid for. This one is the Wisteria special edition from Fairyloot by Adalyn Grace, which is the 3rd and I think final book in the Belladonna series. I don't know if the series is called Belladonna, but book 1 is Belladonna, and I very much enjoyed it when I read it, I think around this time last year actually. So I guess we'll start off with the Fairyloots this time. We might as well do the special edition just while it's on top. This one I like because I like the normal colours of the series. And this one is actually, I'm pretty sure, just a colorway change, but they're darker. So like the rest of the colors on the cover really pop on them. I ended up picking up because I missed the Foxglove, I think was book 2, sale from Fairyloot. So I just picked up the Waterstones one, and then they did a reprint of book 2, and I decided not to get it because I'd already bought like the second one full price. And now I regret it because I have book 1 and 3 in the Fairyloot editions, but not book 2. So I will overlay the original edition over the top so that you guys can see the difference. It just has a more pale background, whereas I like, especially with the spine, I like the darker ones. We also have a stenciled edge on here, as well as illustrated end pages, which I really like the art style for. I especially like that one. And then under the dust jacket, we have a printed hardcover design, which I also really like. Printed kind of patterned hardcovers are my favorite. I think I actually prefer them to foiling. I don't mind foiling, but I also don't love when they're combined, so it's like a printed hardcover with foiling. Like, I think printed is definitely my favorite. So book 1 in this series, Belladonna, is, well, the whole series is a gothic fantasy, which is probably why I enjoyed it so much. But book 1 is about a girl whose parents died, and she has been passed along a string of guardians that are more interested in her fortune that she will inherit when she comes of age than her. So each one has been more and more awful, and they have all also died. So she is now moving to her last living relatives that live in this like big sprawling gothic manor. I think she is related to like the mother of the family who has passed away, leaving a grieving husband, and the daughter is actually currently suffering from the same affliction that killed her mother. So Signa, who has seen so many relatives die, steps in to try and get to the bottom of this mysterious illness, thinking something that is maybe not as kind of naturally occurring as everyone assumes, and she has to team up with death to be able to do this. So I really enjoyed mainly the atmosphere of book 1, and I think I might reread it before I continue the series, but now that book 3 is out and I have it, I know that I can kind of just read through the entire series, which is preferable because, like, I read Belladonna and have forgotten a lot about it. I think, and I've said this before, like, I think it's just better for me to read series like when the final book is out, instead of trying to keep on top of them like each year when I know I'm just like forgetting things in the meantime. So we'll now do the YA Fairyloot. I'm particularly excited about, I think it's 2 of the Fairyloot boxes this month, and I think it's the Romantasy and the Adult. I was getting confused last month about whether I was more excited about the October or the September picks. I think it was the October ones, but there were a couple of standout ones in September as well. This one is quite a heavy one. Let us go down to the spoiler card. The theme for this month is Castles Crumbling, which is cute. I support it. And if you guys would like to read the spoilers, you can pause here and do so. I, of course, am going to be going in blind, and we are going to investigate what looks like a print holder. I do have a couple of these now, and I have not filled them, but this one is a very pretty design, and it looks like a photo album. Oh, this is for bookmarks. Okay. This is cool as well because Fairyloot do actually do a set of collectible bookmarks, and they're not ones that I use a lot. I have so many bookmarks, so I just use like whatever is I feel fitting to the book that I'm currently reading. But this is cool because I could display the collectible Fairyloot ones, seeing as I have so many that it's not like imperative that I use them. And this one is inspired by Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which is not a book that I particularly enjoyed, but I do like the design of the bookmark holder. Oh, this is definitely designed by Quirky Cup Collective. It looks like a Kindle pouch. And yes, I was right, because it says at the bottom Fairyloot and the Quirky Cup Collective. These are very, very cute. They do a whole range of designs on the Quirky Cup Collective website, and I'm actually sad. Oh, so just before I went to Egypt, a couple of my patrons said that there would be items in the Illumicrate and the Fairyloot box that would be helpful to me when I traveled, but I didn't have all of the boxes, so I couldn't film the unboxing before I went. I think this is the Fairyloot one, and I actually got a small scratch on my Kindle screen while I was away, even though it was in like the padded pouch of my backpack. So yeah, this would have been really helpful actually, but it will come in handy in the future and I will use it from now on. Saying that, I do have like paperback book sleeves that I could have used, but I didn't. This one is inspired by Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which once again is a book that I did not enjoy, but I still appreciate the design, so it's fine. The next item is Salt and Pepper Shakers. It says salt and spice, but I mean, we can put pepper in, right? Pepper's a spice. These are so cute. I really like these. They have a book design on them, and this one says salt, and this one of course says spice. I guess the issue here is that I have grinders. I don't have like sprinkle salt and pepper, but I can definitely find something to put in them because I do have an extensive like spice collection in general, and I like the design of these. I actually don't have any salt and pepper shakers, so definitely a useful item. Ooh, and then the last item is a set of overlays for the book of the month, and actually based on now knowing or remembering what the book of the month is, this is Sabaa Tahir's newest release, and I think that means that I'm excited about the YA. Is it the YA and the Romantasy again? Interesting. Okay, so last month it was the YA and the Adult that I was excited about. This month it's the YA and the Romantasy. So obviously I have not read the book yet, but I will show you, I guess, just what an overlay is. So if you're unfamiliar with overlays, they are these kind of transparent art prints that depict scenes from the book. You normally get a guide of like what page they belong on, and then you can overlay them on the page like this, and they just look really cute. I really like overlays, and they are becoming a recurring collectible item in all Fairyloot boxes, which I think is really cool because I think, if I remember correctly, they're going to be doing them with the books of the month for the YA box. So what I think I'm going to do is save them for when I'm reading the book, although am I going to be able to keep them with the book and remember what's got overlays? I guess we'll find out. But I like to, when I have overlays, I like to read the book, and then when I get to like the section or the chapter, put the overlay in. So I think I'm going to do that with this as well. And then just before we get into the book of the month, we have this month's tarot cards, which we are actually almost done with this deck of tarot, I think. But these two are characters from Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, and they are the King and the Queen of Suns. Okay, so the book of the month, as I mentioned, is Air by Sabaa Tahir. I read the Ember and the Ashes Quartet in a video, like I did a series. I read the entire series in a week and I really enjoyed it. So I'm very excited to see what this one contains, and also excited to see the Fairyloot edition, which, does it go this way? Because it seems to be like the same design on both sides. Ooh, okay. It's pretty. This is an entirely custom cover from Fairyloot as well. Ooh. So I'll overlay the original over the top so you guys can see the difference. It seems to have kept like the art style and the color, but it is a very, very different cover. I love the printed edge on here. I think it's really, really pretty and really in keeping with the theme of the book. We have foiled illustrated end pages, which are different. Yes, this is a thick book. They're different on each side. We have a bound in letter from the author, and under the dust jacket we have a foiled and printed hardcover, which, as I said, they're not my favorite, but the printing on this is kind of subtle. It's just like speckled, and then it has a foiled design over the top. And then the reverse dust jacket is, I think, the original cover, but I think it's a little bit brighter, which I'm just gonna double check. I think it looks slightly brighter. No, it just says in the spoiler card, it says that the standard cover is on the reverse, so this is just like the regular cover of the book. And it also says that it has a map as like additional content, so I'm guessing that the original doesn't have one. So I have been excited for this book just because I enjoyed An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, so I honestly do not know what it's about, which means that I'm going to have to read you the synopsis on the dust jacket. I believe that it is a multi-perspective fantasy, but that's literally all I know. It says, an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. Growing up in the Kagari slums, Aze has seen her share of suffering. An old tragedy fuels her need for vengeance, but it is the love of her people that propels her, until one hot-headed mistake lands her in an inescapable prison where the embers of her wrath ignite. Banished from her tribe for an unforgivable crime, Saoirse is a down-on-her-luck tracker who speaks to the earth, air and water to trace her marks. Destitute, she agrees to hunt down a killer who has murdered children across the empire. All she has to do is carry out the job and get paid, but then she falls for a charismatic and inconvenient fugitive who keeps getting in her way. Quill is the crown prince of the empire, nephew of a famed and venerated empress, but he's loath to pick up the mantle when his aunt steps down. As the son of the most hated emperor in the history of his people, he better than anyone understands that power corrupts. When a vicious new enemy threatens the survival of the empire, Quill must ask himself if he can rise above his tragic lineage and be the heir his people need. Sabaa Tahir masterfully interweaves the lives of three young people as they grapple with the burdens of power, love, and unchecked greed. Get ready for a dark and breathless journey that may cost these young people their lives and their hearts. Literally. So nothing in the synopsis sounds like kind of something that I've never seen before, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, I like what I like, and this kind of story is something that I do typically enjoy. So next up we'll go for the other one that I'm the most excited for, which is the Romantasy box. Thank you, Brie, for stealing, as usual. Can you? No. So this book is by an author that I own a different book by that I also haven't read, but I'm interested in the author, so I'm glad that this is the book of the month. It is a book that was previously an indie. I think it was released last year, and then it was kind of put on hold when it was picked up by a publisher, and has now been re-released. So the theme for this month is Dark Alliance, and I think I've just seen that this one comes with a letter from the author. Yeah, on the back of an art print instead of being bound in, which is interesting. And this one is The Coven by Harper L. Woods. So the art that is on this card is the same as the cover art, and this one is a complete cover redesign, so I'll overlay the original over the top, which I'm pretty sure is like mainly text with a frame around it. I am assuming then that under the dust jacket we are going to have the original cover, which I think is also an exclusive one because I think that the original one is a little bit more green than this. We do have a printed and foiled hardcover. So these are the ones that I don't love. I think it just looks like a bit too much when it is both printed and foiled. But then we also have a kind of matching edge on here. We have custom foiled end papers. It's not that I don't love foiled end papers, I just don't think that it's necessary. I think that the artwork is enough. And oh, it's also signed by the author. So I have the first book in Harper Elwood's Fae series. I picked it up because I went to Rare last year and I had it signed. But this one I think is about witches, but I don't actually know the intricacies of the plot, so I'll just read the dust jacket. It says, your destiny is not to do what is right. Your destiny is to destroy us all. Willow Mediza never thought she'd accept a place at Hollows Grove University, the secret and prestigious institution where the best and brightest of her fellow witches learn to wield their magic. But Willow has reasons for being at Hollows Grove beyond the education it offers. Raised to be a weapon against the coven that presides over the university, she must find the bones of her ancestors in order to reclaim the magic that is her destiny. Her only obstacle is Alaric Grayson Thorne, the university's beautiful and infuriating headmaster. Gray is ruthless, manipulative, dangerous. He represents everything Willow has been taught to despise, but despite their mutual loathing, Gray understands Willow better than anyone, and he might just be the key to unlocking her full power. So I am 10 times more interested in this now because I did not know that it had a magical university, and that is definitely like a buzzword for me. I love a magic school. I am a little bit worried about Harper Elwood's because I don't know how smutty her books are. I think that they are quite smutty, which is fine, but I do just like prefer a slow burn before it gets smutty, and I'm not sure like how early the smut comes in like Harper Elwood's book, but I guess we will find out at some point. It's also like a nice short one at under 300 pages, which is, I do prefer my books longer, but sometimes it's nice to have something a little bit shorter to dive into. And then the final Fairyloot box is the adult. So I don't think I remember. Oh, I do. This one I think is a little bit, I don't know if it's cottagecore-y, but it seems a little bit lighter than what I like to read. I like my books like super dark and serious, which is why I am more excited about the other two books that we have this month. Oh, I love the colors on this though. So this one is the wrong way. This one is Sorcery and Small Magics by Mega Ducey, I want to say, but I'm not too sure. I also like from the cover of this, I think it might be a little bit historical, but that is just an assumption. So we'll find out like when we get to the synopsis. So this one is an exclusive colorway. I believe that the original cover of this is dark blue, where this one is more green. And the reason why I actually really like this edition is because of the green paired with the brighter colors like the purples and the pinks on here. We have a stenciled or laser printed edge, and oh, I love the art style and the color scheme on the end papers. Let me look at the other one. Yeah, they are different on each side. This is given like queer 19th century kind of foresty book, which I'm not sure is my vibe, but we do also have foiling under the dust jacket, and we also have an exclusive cover on the reverse of the dust jacket, which I do like with the end papers. Really like the art style on this, and a bounding letter from the author as well. So let's see if my predictions are correct and read the synopsis of this one. Ooh, Leovander Lovage, what a name, is a master of small magics. He can summon butterflies with a song or turn someone's hair pink by snapping his fingers. Such minor charms don't earn him much admiration from other sorcerers or his father, but anything more elaborate always blows up in his face, which is why Leo vowed years ago to never again write powerful magic. That is, until a mix-up involving a forbidden spell binds Leo to obey the commands of his longtime nemesis, Sebastian Grimm. Grimm is Leo's complete opposite. Respected, exceptionally talented, and an absolutely insufferable curmudgeon. The only thing they agree on is that getting caught using forbidden magic would mean the end of their careers. They need a counterspell, and fast. Chasing rumors of a powerful sorcerer with a knack for undoing curses, Leo and Grimm enter the Unquiet Wood, a forest infested infested with murderous monsters and dangerous outlaws. To dissolve the curse, they'll have to uncover the true depths of Leo's magic, set aside their long-standing rivalry, and much to their horror, work together, even as an odd spark of attraction flares between them. So this is reminding me a lot of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which was a book that I kind of enjoyed enough, but not enough to like want to continue with the series. I feel like, once again, just an assumption based on the synopsis and like the cover and the vibe, I feel like it's going to be like quite unserious and silly, which is fine. Like, I understand why some people love those books, but it's not my particular favorite, but I will of course give it a try. And then our final box of the day is going to be the October Illumicrate. So like I said, this feels like quite a light box. I cannot remember what the book of the October Illumicrate is, but I do know that I haven't, because they do like the emojis for the upcoming book so that people can guess what they're going to be. And I don't think I'm particularly into any books for like the end of the year. Like, none of them are particularly speaking to me like at first glance, but obviously like I'll try them and we'll see what happens. But the theme for this month is Colours of Magic, and if you guys would like to look at the spoilers, you can pause here and do so. But I'm going to be going in blind. I see the item that one of my patrons said would be quite useful for traveling, which is this selection of bottles. So these are for like when you travel, you can dispense some of your shampoo, shower gel, etc. into them. This indeed would have been handy. Luckily, like, I buy travel miniatures and then I keep the bottles and I refill them from my big bottles so that I have small ones, but something like this is obviously a little bit cuter. And this one is inspired by the Honey Witch. It is very like fandom neutral though, like it's nothing too obviously tied to any particular book, which I feel like is true for most of the items that I've had today. Ooh, the next item is a set of washi tapes. I really love the color palette on these because of course they're dark green. I mean, because I'm filming, I haven't put much thought into what I'm wearing on the bottom, but it is also green. So you could say I like green. And these ones are inspired by Gods of Jade and Shadow, which is a book that I like. We then have a Moth to a Flame chain pin set. These ones, this one is inspired by The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli, which is one of my favorite books of the year. And it is a moth and a rose. At this point in my life, I feel like I am kind of over pins. I don't know whether I've just grown out of them or whether I'm just bored of them. They are pretty, but I don't wear them on things anymore, I feel. One of my favorite items is a dust jacket. So I get tons and tons of questions because if I'm reading a hardback book, I always use these dust jackets. So as you can imagine, they just replace the normal dust jacket on your book. All of the ones that I have are from Illumicrate and I use them for every single hardback that I read, and I get so many questions from people asking where I got them from, and I can't direct people to anywhere because they all come in Illumicrate, but obviously they just protect your hardback, especially like if you're somebody who has oilier skin. The foil can rub off the book like with your fingers, so I always like to use these. So I'm glad that this is included. This is definitely my favorite item from this box, and it is inspired by Priory of the Orange Tree, which I thought that it was because of the two dragons, but the color palette threw me off at first. But there's an orange tree right there. And then the last item we have is the book of the month, and this one seems to be very purple. Is it also paired with green? Yes, I do like purple and green. Purple and green or purple and turquoise together, I am a big fan of. And this one is Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon. So the reason why I'm not particularly excited about this book is that I read Kate Dillon's other book, which is Mindwalker, and I DNF'd it because I got like 100 pages in and I wasn't invested at all. It was more of like a fun, fast-paced kind of story, and I just wasn't really vibing with it. But I love the color palette on this one, which I feel kind of quite nicely complements Sorcery and Small Magics. But I will of course overlay the original over the top. I think that this is just a modified colorway. I think that the original is more like blue and pink. We also have a printed edge. We have custom end pages, which are different on each side. It's almost like a blocky kind of comic book style in the facial features of the art. Ooh, and we have, this is printed and foiled, but the foiling on this is just kind of a frame around the art, so like I don't mind it too much. I like how it looks on the spine actually. And then on the inside, it is signed by the author with a bound in, like a double page bound in letter from the author as well. So I don't actually know what this is about. I haven't looked into it because I didn't necessarily intend to read anything from Kate Dillon again. But the synopsis says, no matter where she goes, Semi's life is under threat. The church would see her killed for having any magic. The Council of Shades wants her dead for not having enough. So when her mother falls ill, Semi has no choice but to turn thief. And when she's offered a job that could solve all their problems, it's impossible to resist. The catch? Semi will have to work with Chase, beautiful, dangerous, and full of secrets, to steal a powerful relic the church has hidden within a deadly realm of shadows. If she succeeds, Semi will finally be safe, but if she's caught, she risks igniting a spark that could destroy the city and everyone inside. An action-packed epic heist fantasy from the author of Mindwalker. Perfect for fans of Six of Crows, Master of One, and Bonecryer's Dawn. So I like a heist story, so we'll see. That's all I can say because I didn't like Mindwalker. But hopefully this one will be a little bit more enjoyable. It is still quite short. I know Mindwalker was also quite short at 324 pages. So that is it for my October unboxings. We have a nice little stack of special editions. I feel like we have quite a lot of, well, I say quite a lot. We have 2 completely redesigned covers in this one, as well as 2 adapted colorways. I don't know which is my favorite. Let me show you the edges. Let me know down in the comments which is your favorite edition of this month, and also what your favorite edge is. My favorite edge is definitely the Sabatahir one. I think that one for sure stands out with the amount of detail. I also of course like black and gold. If you've seen my bedroom you'll know that. But I also really like the colorways on Until We Shatter and Sorcery and Small Magics. But I think for my favorite edition I'm gonna have to go with Air by Sabatahir. It's not a major thing, but I am a little bit sad that the reverse dust jacket isn't a different colorway, but I really, really like this edition overall. And it's also the book in this that I would say I'm the most excited to read, because I'm also interested in this one, but I think I'm more likely to enjoy this one because I've read from Sabatahir before, whereas I'm taking a little bit more of a chance on Harper L. Woods. So that brings us to the end of my October unboxing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, also a massive thank you to Illumicrate and Fairyloot that provided most of the boxes that we opened in today's video. Down in my description box, you will of course find links to the websites for all of these subscription boxes that I talked about in today's video, as well as links to their social media and also any discount codes that I may have. Also in my description box you will find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you would like to join me on any of those. But that is it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.